Okay, I think it's about time for another review. Well, let's get the camera pointing in the right direction. First off, giveaway. January 1st, I'm going to be doing a video. Basically with that video, all you have to do is comment. I really don't care what you say, just no vulgar comments. If you like my videos, thank you very much, especially for all the subscribers. I have over 1,000 now, so that's why I'm doing this video giveaway. The truck I do not have. To save on some shipping, I'm going to buy it and ship it directly to that person's house. I am an RC addict. If I were to get that truck, it wouldn't leave my house. The truck that is going to be given away is a Armor Granite XL, I think. It's not going to be the brushless version. It's just going to be the brushed version. Does 30 miles an hour out of the box. Comes with the Tactic servo. It actually runs on the same chassis as the Armor Raider that I've done reviews on. And on February 1st, I will be doing a YouTube live stream. I don't know exactly what day that is, but I will be picking the winner. I won't be picking the winner. I will be doing a live spin using, if you can't decide, we'll decide for you. It's a little pun. And I'm also going, by the amount of comments I get, that's how many seconds the wheel's going to spin for. If I don't get a lot of comments, then I'll just do a random number of how many, and then everybody will be put on that wheel, and you will win a Armor Raider. Armor Granite. It is 2-wheel drive. I don't believe it comes with batteries. I'm sorry. It may. And honestly, just to save on shipping and to keep it out of my hands, it's going to be delivered straight to your house. So, on to the next thing. I did a little teaser video about this right here. This is the new Horizon Hobby Blade E-Flite, pretty much the same thing. I would consider this, you see on the tail it says E-Flite, but I consider this more of a Blade product. It is completely brushless. The battery compartment is right here. It's an amazing plane. Over all the features, it has 4 digital servos. It has 2 Metal Gear servos for the pivoting of the front propellers. It does have elevons on both sides. Right now, well, not right now, from what I have heard, the warehouse is getting more in on the 27th of December. And then after that, it'll be shipped out and the pre-orders are going to be filled. If there are some left after the pre-orders, you could possibly find one. Right now, this is impossible to find online. I looked. Even after I had this, I looked. I don't know much about the servos because I haven't dug down that deep. I don't know much about, I haven't really looked at the ESCs at all. They're just right inside here. Maybe if I take a good look, I can see how many amps there are. Let's see if I move some things around. My unboxing knife. Oh, come on now, don't be a pain. It is FPV set up, so if you do have an FPV set up, I'll have to put this down right here. If you do have an FPV set up, I'll show you where that goes, or you can always cut out this piece of the foam right here and create a clear canopy and mount a camera in there, and then it would be a little more realistic. But where the camera goes on this, you can actually get an action cam, and they actually made it so you can put an action cam right here. If you take off this bottom section, That's how you get your receiver in. That's where the flight controller is. The flight controller by itself is $125. Right now, there's two versions. One is the basic version, $219. Doesn't come with the receiver. And then they have the bind and fly version. Does not come with batteries. Does not come with a transmitter. So you're going to have at least a 6-channel transmitter. I've always had this DX7S. Back from, I have helicopters and stuff like that. But right now the helicopter's like, I have an Align 450. It needs a new tail boom and some servo mounts. The front, I believe these are 6-inch propellers. I don't know much about the propellers. I really haven't read up a lot, but the front two motors are 2210 size. I believe that's the size. 1450 kV. The rear is, what was that? I've already looked at it, but I forgot. A 2730 brushless motor at 1550 kV. And it's a tri-blade. This has to do the job of two propellers, so it has to spin faster. That's why it's a higher kV motor. From what I know about RCs and stuff, you're going to need it to spin a little faster. It's a blast to fly. I'm basically going to be doing 2 reviews on it. Right now, I've flown it in multi-rotor mode, which is with everything pointing straight up. It always drifts forward. It's an airplane. But it can drift backwards, but when it does, it sort of does this. Because airplanes aren't supposed to fly backwards. As soon as you flip a switch, it's sort of timered. I'll actually show that. Some other people have done this. It takes a at least 2200 milliamp hour battery 20C3S. So you're looking at 20 times 2, so that would be, you're looking at least 40 amps. No, 22 times 40. It's early as hell, so yeah, my math isn't all that great right now. 22 times that, okay, 44 amps is what you're looking at. I have 5 batteries. I have 3 2200s and 2 2600s. It can take up to a 3000 milliamp hour battery. I don't know about 4S yet. Let's take a look at the ESC. There's just a wire in the way, so I just need to pop it over to the side. Let's see if I can read anything on it. 20 amp brushless ESC, 3-cell LiPo. That was a question that was something I was sort of curious about. Could it take 4S? So probably not with these ESCs. If you were to change out the motors, it may be able to take 4S. I was thinking if you were to put 4S in this, the extra RPMs would help and give you a longer flight time. With a 2200 milliamp hour battery, you're looking at about 6 minutes in multi-rotor mode, maybe a little more in flight mode. I highly recommend getting a Venom low voltage meter. You set this to, I'm going to set this down for a sec. I'll be putting a battery in it and showing some of the things. It was a very popular plane. I was lucky to get one. My local hobby shop, the hobby shop I actually rarely go to, the one that's closest to me, but all they have is airplane stuff. They actually had this. It was a demo unit. The bind and fly version comes with the Spectrum multi-rotor. But if you want to use Futaba, Fly Sky, any other, you're going to have to do serial. It does have an S-Bus port. It also has a update port on the flight controller. So as updates come out, but basically with this here, well, I'm gonna go with the 2600 milliamp hour. These are Admirals. These are decently priced. I don't remember how much. I've had these for probably about 2 years now, and they still work fine. But basically with this low voltage, you'll hear a loud beep when I plug it in. Now during flight, you can set this to different settings. Like right now it's set at 3.5 volts. You can set it all the way up to, I believe that was, you can set it all the way to 3.8, turn it off. As low as 2.7, but with LiPo batteries you never go lower than 3 volts. I keep mine at 3.5, so as soon as I know, it'll let me know when the battery's getting a little low instead of possibly be flying, and it's loud enough that, and it does fit. I'll show everything inside, but that is loud enough that if the battery starts getting a little low and you start putting a lot of load to it, it'll beep because the voltage drop. But if it beeps when you give it full throttle or something like that, that doesn't mean you have to land immediately. When it starts beeping non-stop, you need to land. I really don't use a timer. I rely on this, because that actually lets me know how much voltage it still has. You can get telemetry and stuff with Spectrum, also Futaba. So let's actually put a battery in here. First, you're going to want to turn on your radio. It's very easy to set up. You start with a regular acro, plain acro, and do normal wings, and then you have to set the mix and the hold. You basically have to set the extra 2 channels to, one is for the AS3X flight software that keeps it stable. You can turn that off, but it also has, of course you have to be able to flip the switch to go into airplane mode. There's multi-rotor mode and then there's airplane mode, and I'll show that. So, I'm going to take this battery and I'll show the battery compartment. I have some Velcro that I'm going to be putting in here so the battery doesn't slide around. It just has, I changed out my battery connector. I do not like EC3 connectors. I've always gone with XT60 or XT style connectors. They've never let me down in almost 2 years. Even I ran XT60s on an X-Max. So basically you just take your battery, you slide it in place, and you set the Velcro, you tighten the Velcro over it. I don't know how well this is showing up on camera. And you're going to want to get it about as level as you can. I mean, it's on my lap, so make sure everything's turned down. I sort of spin my cable some so it won't be as long. Sort of spirals. It'll beep, and the motors will go at about a 45-degree angle. And then once it's ready, it's now armed. Once you see the motors go all the way up, it's ready. The motors are always tilting forward a little. And also remember, if you need to do any trimming, any type of trim for multi-rotor mode, it is digital servos all the way around. Just metal gear servos for the propellers, and then plastic gear servos for the control surfaces. And you can actually see that it's actually trying to keep it, but as soon as you flip the switch, it's sort of on a timed. As soon as you flip the switch, to go from multi-rotor mode to airplane mode, it's going to throttle up a little, and it's going to go to about 45 degrees. Well, you can just watch and see. 45 degrees, it's going to throttle up, and then they're going to tilt all the way down. I haven't flown it as a plane yet. I've only had it, today's Friday, I got it Wednesday. With my low voltage protector, I just take the put it back in multi-rotor mode. Multi-rotor mode, it goes straight back. It doesn't do it quickly, but after about 2.5 seconds, it's back in multi-rotor mode. Usually when you're flying it in multi-rotor mode, when you go forward, it doesn't tilt forward. It's just the motor pods tilt forward and makes it go backwards. Same thing if you're wanting to slow it down. It also will bank, and you also have yaw, which is just, you can actually see the motors doing a different, each one doing a different thing to keep it straight. So the low voltage meter I'll take, and this is a big thing for me with anything that flies. If it doesn't have a low voltage, any type of low voltage on it, I always like it so I know, okay, that's how much voltage I have left. So I do that. It has the canopy has a little magnet here and here. So you're going to tuck your wires down and put your low voltage meter towards the front. Put the canopy on. Get everything in its place. And then the magnet holds everything in place. And that's how it goes. Back here, you have a mounting plate. It actually says FPV right in here. It's a little wooden board to mount your, I believe it's called a VX, a video transmitter. And personally, I don't like this part, but it has, like I said, a place for action cam right here. But personally, I'm going to cut off a good portion of this canopy, and I'm going to put a camera right here, and then I'm going to cover it with, I'm going to make a plastic canopy to fit, just using, heating up some thin Lexan, and then forming it over this. Now you can just heat up Lexan in an oven to about 200 degrees, and then use a vacuum form, which you can look it up on YouTube. They're very easy to make with a vacuum cleaner. You just need some type of vacuum. So let me get this battery unplugged and everything out. And then we'll move on from there. It's very similar I had a Delta Wing. You can look back at my videos. I had a E-Flite Delta Wing that I really liked, but I traded it and my Phantom FC40 for 2 helicopters, 2 Align 450s. A couple things that I will say that I do like about it and I don't like about it. These, your tail fins screw into place instead of tape into place, so that's a big plus. The rear motor pod is not glued in place very well. I screwed up. I had the AS3X system off. With the AS3X system off, instead of the motors moving, the only time the motors change their orientation is when you do yaw. When you change your yaw, one will go forward, point forward, and one will point backwards, so it will spin. But if you if you shut the AS3X mode off, the safe mode, if you tilt it like this, it's going to stay like that. If you tilt it like that, it's going to stay like that, and it'll fly forward. You'll have to give it more throttle. It's very similar to flying a helicopter. I have said to some people, if you can fly a multi-rotor, you can fly this, but take your time. Start off with multi-rotor mode. Every now and then take it up to about, 30 feet and hit that switch and just get the feel of how it flies. I've done that. The first day I had it, in the neighborhood that I live in, I actually took it up to above the trees, and there was a good wind coming from the west. And so I pointed it into the west and put it in the plane mode, and it sort of hovered in place. Yesterday, the kids every time, there's like 22 kids in the neighborhood that I live in, and it's sort of a small neighborhood. Every time I bring something out, like 5 of them come running. They wanted me to take it up. This is going over how durable it is. Well, first, I was flying it with AS3X mode off, the safe mode off, and this propeller hit a tree branch. The whole thing fell, and the rear motor pod, which is all this, came off. Some hot glue, and just adding a little more glue than what they had on there, it went right back in place. I do know that, I'm pretty sure there's a special kind of glue, because it looks like, this was a demo model. I got this for $250 even. The receiver that came with it was a $39 receiver. I got it for $30, no tax. So I actually got this for, the tax would have been about $18. That would have been about $232. But you have to remember, it does not come with batteries. It does not come with a transmitter. So you're going to have to get a DX6 or whatever receiver you would like to have. I prefer receivers with S-bus connections. I'm going to be getting the quad, a little satellite receiver that goes in multi-rotors, quadcopters, racers, stuff like that. And it just works on an S-bus instead of having all those extra cables. And that's another thing, that this is just the plug-and-play version. You have the plug-and-play and the bind-and-fly. The bind-and-fly comes with the Spectrum receiver. But like I said, if you want to put like FlySky, Futaba, High Tech, anything like that, you can. You have to make sure that you have 6 channels. It also has these little humps. The steering servo, the control surface servos are actually mounted straight up and down instead of on their side. So that's a better mounting technique than on its side, because on its side they'll eventually come loose. That's what happened with my Delta Ray. Yesterday I was saying this story. Yesterday, this goes on how tough it is. Yesterday I took it above the trees. There was a very strong tailwind and I did not realize it. I took it probably up about 50 feet and I put it into plane mode. Well, it went dead stick. It plummeted straight to the ground about 100 yards away from me. I walk up on it, made sure all the control surfaces were still okay, everything was still working fine, and I was able to bring it right back up into the air. With 2200 milliamp hour battery, you're looking about 6-minute flight time. With 2600 milliamp hour battery, I've gotten a little over 8 minutes. But that's just in multi-rotor mode. I have 5 batteries for this. I have 1 Venom, 3 Admirals, and 1 Turnage. And all of them have XT60 connectors on them, except the 2200 Admiral, which has a EC3. But an EC3 does fit into a XT60 male connector. But doesn't, a female XT60 will not, a female EC3 will not fit into a male XT60. That's one reason I changed. I don't like EC3 connectors. I've always gone with XT style connectors. They're very strong. Not only strong, but also they're sort of sealed. And for positive and negative, there's 4 brass pins, either brass or probably copper, that are very strong, and it creates a very tight bond. XT60 castle connectors, that's the kind of connectors I always use. I've never had a problem with them, and anyone that I know haven't had problems with them. With Dean connectors, you have that little spring, and that little spring can go bad. It can come apart a little, and then it can short. I don't like Deans. I don't like Tamiya or Kyosho. But overall, this is a blast to fly. It's very fun, very entertaining, but you are going to have to basically put on your training wheels when it comes to this, because this is not a multi-rotor. Yes, it goes into multi-rotor mode, but you're going to have to learn. I do have some flight experience. Like I said, I have that Delta Ray, I have helicopters, so I've only had 3 crashes, yesterday being the worst, where it came plummeting down, and the only damage was this little piece of this wing and this little piece of this wing. It was already damaged back here and right here from the hobby shop, the people that I bought it from. It was their demo. They really didn't want to sell it, but they sold it. I got it. It's, like I said, it's very fun. Everything's brushless, so it's much better than the Delta Ray. Comparable price, except the Delta Ray comes with a transmitter. And that's the biggest thing with this is it doesn't come with a transmitter. It doesn't come with batteries, so you're looking a DX6E, you're looking at $150. A plane, you're looking at $250. So if you're going to go with a Spectrum setup, if you get the bind and fly version, you're going to need at least a DX6. So 150 plus 250 would be 400. Then you're looking at batteries. You're getting close to 500 then. So, I mean, it's going to be a decent investment, but it's very fun. You cannot find them online anywhere right now. That's one thing I will warn. You can look, but you won't find. Like I said earlier in the video, the warehouse will be getting more in on the 27th, and they will be shipping them out to local hobby stores and to people who have pre-ordered. So my advice is pre-order if you want one. It's very fun if you want to get into, like me, most of my, probably about 95 to 99% of my videos are of surface vehicles. That's what I prefer. But I also have a Phantom, a DJI Phantom. I had the Delta Ray, but I sold it. Well, I traded it. I have the Align 450s. I like to get into the air. There's so many different things. Eventually, I'm going to be getting a boat and a submarine. I think a submarine would be really cool, especially with the FPV setup. I don't know if it will work, though, especially through water. But that's really it when it comes to the review of the multi-rotor version. My biggest advice is when you first get it and you start doing the multi-rotor, just keep it slow. Remember that it does take a minute to slow down because it really doesn't have much travel backwards. That's as far backwards as they travel. You have to always be correcting your throttle because it doesn't have any self-leveling, no type of automatic hover. So you're like with a helicopter, you're constantly going to have to be working the throttle. So both sticks are going to be moving constantly on your transmitter. It does have plastic skid. Right here it's plastic, and at the tip of each wing is plastic. This, you do not land it like a regular plane. You land it like a helicopter, because if you land it like a plane, there's a very good likelihood you're going to break a propeller and possibly more. You will definitely bend one of these links. I have bent this one, but I fixed it. When I got it, the hole that this link went into was a little worn out, so I put on a new one with all the stuff that I have for my helicopters. But if you're wanting to get into the air, this would probably be your best choice, mainly because of the ease of use. And yeah, I will say this, from other videos I've seen, it does not glide. The wings are very small, so it can utilize the VTOL setup. VTOL stands for vertical takeoff and landing. It uses collets to hold on the propellers instead of press-on blades like with the Delta Ray. My Delta Ray, I put extreme 180 motors in that had replaceable brushes. You could put silver brushes in that would give you 25% more thrust, because silver is the best electrical conductor. But I never did that. I just stuck with the carbon brushes. And like I said, I ordered 2 and they took extremely long to get to me, so I just ordered another 2 from a different place. They got to me within 2 days. I got the other 2, so they're just sitting in my closet full of parts. So I'm pretty much going to end the video here about this. It's a very fun plane. I'll be getting an action cam. I will be doing a running video, of course. I've got some other vehicles that I need to do a long-term review on, such as the Horizon Hobby actually screwed up with this. These little 124 scale short course trucks that are brushless that you can get from Horizon Hobby that are low-C. The funny thing is, when I got mine, I have 2 of them, and I didn't pay for 2 of them. When I got my first one, the DX2 controller would not bind to it. So the lady that I talked to said, okay, as soon as we get tracking information that you ship the one that's not working back, the next day I will ship you a new one out, so you'll have one immediately, because I paid for next day. I paid like an extra $50 to get it next day. So that's why they did that. But then the funny thing is, after I had received my new one, I guess that lady didn't put into the system that I had already received a replacement. So I come home from work one day, and lo and behold, there's a box sitting, and I was like, okay, I hadn't ordered anything, especially this big. I open it up, and it turns out I had a free one. And altogether, I have 3 of them. I have 2 brushless, and I have the 27 megahertz brushed, which I have the accelerant kit to put in it. I just haven't done it yet. The accelerant kit is a 10,500 kV motor. But these are going to be done for a different. I'm just going to compare them, talk about how tough they are. Just basically the basics when it comes to a long-term review of an RC vehicle, how well it stood up, how well the parts stood up. So, and remember about the giveaway, January 1st. January 1st will be Sunday, so that will be, today's Friday. That will be 9 days from now. 9 days from now. Keep a watch out. I'm going to be ordering I always order from Tower Hobbies. If Tower Hobby doesn't have something I want, I go to... if Tower Hobbies doesn't have something I want, I'll usually go to Horizon. This plane is distributed by Horizon Hobby. So... that's how that is. I also had someone that asked if I would do a video of my entire collection of vehicles. Yes, I will do that, and I really don't like doing those kind of things, but because people always think you're bragging and showing off. Like when Aaron from RC Sparks, a lot of people kept asking him to do a collection video, and it took 3 20-minute videos. So he has a hell of a collection. I love their videos. Them and Hemi Storm really got me in to surface RC. And I actually know Mr. Hemi Storm. I'm not going to say his actual name, but I actually know him somewhat on a personal level. We speak over Facebook quite often. He gives me tips on painting and stuff like that. Soon I will be getting a Yeti XL Junior and putting a Castle Mamba Micro in it. There's quite a few micros that I'm really interested in right now. On the 31st, I am purchasing a Savage XL with a 5.9 big block. I have a OSVG 30 Max motor that's going to go into that. So I've got a lot of projects coming up. Winter's here, so that's when projects start getting done. I have 8 chassis that I need to build. I got a Revo that's getting converted to an E-Slayer, a Nitro Revo that's getting converted to an E-Slayer, a T-Max, RS4, 2 T-Max, excuse me. And I also have a second Revo that I'm putting an electric kit on, and then I have the short wheelbase Revo that I'm putting an electric kit on and converting it to an E-Slayer. All it is changing out A-arms, and some bumpers and stuff like that, and getting a body. I'm trying to think if that's about it and what time it is. This has been a decently long video, but I wanted to cover everything. I will say GoPros don't fit in the plane. You're going to need to get an action cam. Tactic has an action cam right now available on Tower Hobbies for $19.99. That's probably the one I'm going to be getting. And I believe it actually has a port where you can connect a video. Oh, it's called a VX. A video transmitter. And like I said, with this plane, it's already built to have a VX, a video transmitter put in the back. I'm probably just going to buy the Spectrum headset. I don't need anything special yet. I'm looking to get the eSheen Wizard 220, $139, bind and fly, and it comes with some very good hardware. There's a couple things like it needs a polarized antenna, stuff like that. I'm wanting to get into the air. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and especially get into racing quadcopters. And I don't want anything small. I don't want anything too big. There's also a bigger quadcopter. I think it's like a 350 size. I can't remember who it's made by, but the motors actually stop and spin reverse direction, so you can actually. It was one of the first 3D quadcopters, except for the Youngblood Stingray, which actually it uses belts and it uses the propellers. Each of the 4 propellers are spinning at the same time, but the angle of the propellers change, and that's how it can be a 3D flight, a 3D quadcopter, and a lot of people have been wanting those. Casey Neistat has actually made a 16 motor quadcopter capable of lifting a human, about 200 pounds. That probably wasn't cheap. You're probably looking at about $10,000-$15,000, something like that, but he gets a lot of views, so yeah. But it is the 23rd of December, so I want to say happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everyone. If you're Jewish, happy Hanukkah. Just happy holidays all around. I hope you have very joyous holidays. I hope you get what you want for Christmas. And like usual, if you have any questions, please comment. If you like the video, I will be doing a running video of, get this shelf closed. I will be doing a running video of this, and I'll get that uploaded today. I have to wait for the wife to wake up, because I'm not going to hold a camera and try to fly this at the same time. I'll end up crashing, and I really don't want to crash something that cannot be replaced at this moment. And it's not the price of it, it's the fact that it can't be found anywhere. So this video has gotten long enough. I believe I'm going to stop it here. If you have any questions, please comment below. I thank all the subscribers. Remember the giveaway now, January 1st. I'll be doing the giveaway video and showing what the vehicle is, going over all the specs, and then February 1st, I will be doing a drawing. You have to make sure to comment. Comment before February 1st, because on February 1st, I am going to order it, and it is going to be going to somebody's front door. So that's just a thank you to all my loyal subscribers, all those who watch my videos. I thank you very much. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and I'll see everybody later. Peace.